Hi, this is Renee and Kent and the augmentation of man, and we are here to talk about
Balance.
balance. And truth only comes from
Complete
balance.
That's
And that
chapter
is
8, 167
7
and 168.
in the augmentation of man, a study in Renaissance.
Okay, we're going to speak about a vision that I had. And my vision summarizes a lesson that comes out of the dream that I had. So we talk about balance. So truth only comes from complete balance.
And what does that mean?
Well, with a small balance, the truth is skewed towards imbalance.
But what is balance?
Balance is everything is within yourself, is a neutral point of view.
Okay.
So it may not even be recognized.
And
Yeah.
that's the problem with humanity, right?
Yeah.
We don't recognize we're even out of balance.
Right. So when more non-truth is brought in to support the original belief that we've had, or perception, others begin to recognize it.
But we don't even
And
recognize
we
it
don't even
ourselves.
recognize it ourselves.
We're on this storytelling
Yeah.
adventure. We think we're
perception,
talking
yeah.
the truth, but it's not exactly aligned to truth
Yeah,
because of
so-
our perceptions,
Well, when
right?
the truth becomes more obvious as a non-truth to others who are looking at us like this not for real.
It's because we have to keep
Right.
What's
the ones that are
supporting-
perceptive
we have to
each
keep
other.
adding to the story to support the original statement,
Right.
right?
And truth, you don't have to add to it. At this point, it requires much work to get another to believe a non-truth than a truth, because you, like you said, you got to keep adding
You
to it,
have to
and
keep
trying
adding.
to convince those
And
that look at you like, I don't think this is for real.
and yet we still think that we're telling the truth, but then others start to question it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it doesn't
Because
take.
then it doesn't sound quite.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take much to cross the line in recognition between balance and imbalance. Okay, so when the imbalance leads to an event,
And they usually do.
yeah, then we realize we are not in line to truth. In other words, the truth is balance,
Hmm.
imbalance is non-truth. So
And-
where it was not recognized previously, oh man.
And so that's when we have this shocking revelation that what we thought to be true
Is not true.
is not aligned to truth.
Yeah, and you hate to recognize this shocking revelation because you've been on the non-truth side for so long that your ego won't let you admit it.
So the truth, we can only see the truth if we are in complete balance, meaning we are completely neutral.
Mhm.
We are not polarized to one side or the
Or
other.
That's right.
So it allows us to see the entire picture. Whereas if we're polarized, we're only going to see that side that supports our belief and not recognize the other side.
Yeah, the human race is really a young race, and therefore it is very difficult for us to recognize the complete balance. We really don't recognize it. Our
And-
perceptions won't allow us to recognize it.
And so for that reason, it's really difficult for humans to remain neutral and in balance. And we don't even realize
No,
that.
no.
And so it's important to understand that it's difficult for us as humans because of our limited experiences, and we're just exiting this cycle on perceptual learning. So our perceptions are really magnified right now. That's going to cause our perceptions to be skewed to one side or the other based on our past experiences.
Yeah, well, the masters, and that's a handful of masters, such as Yogananda, the Hindu master, the Buddhist master, Jesus, different masters, a handful, have mastered the learning field and are able to maintain this balance. Now we can be balanced, but for a short period of time, we can't seem to hold on to the balance itself like the masters could. That's why they're masters.
And you can tell that, they can remain calm and collected and even jovial under the most extreme conditions because they can maintain that balance no matter what.
Right. They learn how to maintain the balance and keep truth within themselves. So we must be conscious of our inability and continually strive to achieve neutrality, which is very, very difficult in one lifetime. But we can move towards that.
And that's the only way that we can not only see the truth, but be able to speak the truth too. And so if whatever we are thinking, we are relaying, that's coming out in our speech, right? It's coming out in what we are dictating to the world.
Yeah, well, have you ever told the non-truth? You knew it was a non-truth, and later on you go, oh, why did I say that? I knew it was a non-truth. Now what do I do? I think everybody's experienced that at some time in their life, even as a child, when they tell a non-truth and they know.
But even more startling is when you believe it and then you find out that you're not aligned to the truth because your perception's been skewed.
Yeah, so the humans are able to perceive this concept. The guide states the difficulty of achieving it in reality.
So we kind of understand the concept, but it's still difficult for us to achieve.
Well, it's easier to change the perception than to
change the definition, right?
So we have to create a new balance, a true balance. It's easier just to add on and create a perception of the definition than to
really change and try and create the balance within. And so we have to be real careful of that. But they're saying that meditation, the guide in this lesson is saying meditation is the way to find balance, but also to fully understand events going on around us, because everything that is happening in our physical world is there for us to contemplate, to self-reflect, and to ask for guidance and understanding.
Yeah, and people have heard me been saying for several years, take your time and learn discernment. Discernment is a key to understanding and a key to balance. But you have to learn discernment, because if you're hurried, if you make hurried decisions or hurried in analyzing an event, it is basically ineffective.
It is. And so we have been taught to keep an open mind, to be able to at least contemplate something new to our understanding, but also to balance that with discerning. So it's like this delicate balance of open mind and discernment that allows us to see the bigger picture without being duped into thinking or believing something that has no validity.
Yeah, so when you do this meditation and you take your time to learn discernment, don't be afraid to ask when you go within. Don't be afraid to ask your guides, because if you say, well, I don't know who the guides are, or I don't have any. No, ask for a guide. Ask and be humble. They respect humbleness.
Yeah, and I think, if you think about our teachers today, and they're trying to teach new concepts to the kids in the class, and you have a child that comes up and thinks they know it all. That's kind of the way I think I see humanity in their arrogance when we're talking about communicating with a higher being. We kind of have this arrogant perception that we understand when we're just so low on that totem pole.
So be careful when you interpret your visions, because this can also create or lead to a false narrative. Mm-hmm. Just don't have a vision and you're going to say, oh, this means ABC when it may not.
Mhm.
You have to use discernment and analyze what you really saw.
I think it goes along with dream interpretation, because we're told that when we're in the dream state, we're in the fourth
And it
dimension.
can be a metaphoric
Yeah.
thing.
And our soul is in the fourth dimension. So we're learning about the soul as we're dreaming. And meditation, we are filling in the gaps that the dreams don't cover. And when we have visions while we're meditating, those visions are also from a fourth dimensional state. So a good dream dictionary will help decipher some of that
Yeah, to begin, but
metaphoric
Yeah.
and symbolic meaning. It's not usually a
an absolute
an
interpretation.
at its face value. It's usually a metaphoric
So
value.
take time to visualize the cause and event of a dream or a vision. What causes the event? What was the cause of the event? And what effect did it have?
Mhm.
And if you can analyze that and take your time and analyze it, you'll have a good idea of what's behind it.
And so keep your mind open, because more often than not, what we think is going on is not what's going on.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, what you see isn't necessarily what's there.
Right. And so we hope that this will help you to understand this a little bit better. And as always, peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out our podcasts also.
And second book.
Second book's coming out soon.
Very, very soon.
We are going to be running a special, so we'll have it reduced to about $10 for a few days. What we're wanting to do is hit the top of Amazon's sale list. So
yeah, for about a week, we'll have it half price probably.
Well, I think it'll be less than that. It'll have to fit in with Amazon's guidelines. But when you take a look at it, leave a comment on Amazon so we can get it to the front instead of the back of their listing. And we will be happy to reduce the price in order to make it reasonable for you.
Yeah,
okay?
We'll do a video and a podcast and let everybody know when it's ready.
Our
And when the
podcast
sale starts.
Our podcasts are on anchor.fm, and that's The Augmentation of Man. So / The Augmentation Man. You can also catch it on iTunes, Google Podcasts,
Spotify,
Breaker, Spreaker, all the major ones it'll be on. And we're going to take on a little bit different
agenda.
Well, it's not going to follow the book
Yeah.
per se. Like the YouTubes are more as a guide to help you get through the book. This is going to be more a comprehensive
Here's what's
panoramic
happening
view.
today.
And yeah, it's going to apply to what's happening today, and it's connecting the dots to everything that's happening, including the scientific side, including what's the influence astronomy is having on it. So you can listen to those while you're driving in the car too.
Yeah. So with that, continue with us on our journey, and we will continue looking at your journey.
It really is fulfilling to see the progress of so many people. So keep it going.
Yeah.
Thank you
Have
for
a good
joining
week.
us. Bye-bye now.